SG2 is one of the most significant yet hardest to achieve goals in our world today. One of the main reasons that it is hard to achieve SG2 is because of food insecurity and malnutrition in our communities. We would assume that Malaysia, being a nation that is rich in food and famous for its diverse cuisines, does not have much struggle to achieve this goal, but that is far from true. In fact, one of the main struggles to achieve SG2 in Malaysia is child malnutrition and stunting among our children. The UNICEF report in 2023 states that 1 in 5 children under 5 struggle with malnutrition and are stunted. Here is an interview with Professor Dr. Nazia, the Director of Corporate Data Center on Child Malnutrition and Stunting Among Our Children.
I am actually quite surprised. I mean, I don't read a lot, but I do donate to UNICEF to all these reasons, like malnutrition. But when you wanted to interview me, I started to read, and actually it affects many of the urban poor. And I think this is mostly because of, I think, the parents' background, the education as well, and maybe because they're from the lower income group, they don't get access to healthy food, good nutrition. And when I talk about not getting the parents' education background, maybe feeding them with noodle, like Maggi should suffice, or maybe just giving rice and just fish, or fish is healthy, maybe just rice and salt. To them, that's what they can only afford that. So I would think if you're looking at the urban poor, that is where it's more serious. I wouldn't know something about Kelantan or Terengganu. It's a difference, I think, because when you're urban poor, you live in this high-rise apartment or PPR. But if you're from Kelantan or Terengganu or maybe Sabah or wherever in Perak, you have at least a land for you to bercucuk tanam. It's something that you can self-sustain. So it very much depends on where you're looking at. Is it the outskirts of KL or in KL itself? So I would think it's first education, second is the lower income group, and third is also when you talk about malnutrition, we always talk about lower income, but this is probably happening in people who are in the middle class income and also the T20. Because you see all this advert that's there say, oh, let's have good sneakers, or no, let's have Maggi cukup rasa, those kind of things. They're just binging on that, pizza, McDonald's and KFC. So if you're on that constantly and not getting a proper nutrition, those child are also considered malnutrition. Okay, that's my take on it. I can only look from one angle. I know everyone is helping. I know the government is working really hard to combat all this because apart from malnutrition, we are also suffering from stunting. And somewhat, the statistics says that the boys are more affected than the girls. And you can see your future husbands or boyfriends like, what? You cannot be the same height as me or shorter than me. I cannot be marrying a Cinderella. It's Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. No, I'm just kidding. You can't be doing that. So maybe one of the challenge that they do have is, there's a proverb that says, you give a fish to a man and he's full for the day. But if you teach a man how to fish, he'll be self-sustained. So I think the thing about government is, apart from giving and also providing all this spectrum of healthy food, it is also to educate the parents and the community around. Like, this is the kind of food you should be taking and not this fast food or whatsoever. And because it's a lower income group, they should also know how to self-sustain when it comes to salary. I mean, if you don't have to earn a lot in order to get good food. I don't know, you can go to Samalam, they sell reasonably cheap vegetables and fish and those kind of thing. But I think it's always about the attitude of the community. Are they willing to make a change? Because I know someone who's a lower income group, they're willing to feed their children a healthy proportion of food, like either it's a fish or chicken. I mean, I come from B40. I'm not sure about both of you, but my mom makes sure that proper nutrition food is there for us, and especially vegetable, fish, soya, so at the end of the day, I think that's what government is facing. It's about the mentality, the attitude in terms of what is good food, and also about you just receiving. So what's it? You need to break the cycle, and you always see malnutrition only affects certain areas or certain communities. So that's something you want to break. You want to break the vicious cycle. So I think the challenge is attitude, teaching them, and also giving them exposure. What's the word? I forgot the word, but it's like exposure lah. When it comes to the word, I'll let you know. Do we find any data on malnutrition? Not that I know of, but we are well aware that even amongst our undergraduate, we are not malnourished, but we don't get the proper food. Like I can ajak you to go to Q Bistro, and but we have some cohort of students who doesn't even have money to buy 2 days meal food. There are students who are like that. So what I see is we have very kind lecturers, we have very kind faculties who will start to collect money and give to these students. I know Faculty of Medicine does that. All the doctors will do like a fundraising thing, and it's not a one-off thing, but it's always like a sustainable thing, because you can't expect students to work to support themselves, because it will just disrupt your studies. But it depends. If you're from science computer, you just do programming and it's fine. If you're going to the lab, you have to be in the lab. You can't be, tuang kelas macam tu. So to answer your question, we're not sure malnutrition because in terms of Malaysia punya landscape, but in terms of UM landscape, I wouldn't think it's malnutrition. It's just they're not getting the right access to nutritional food. But what UM can do is to actually make sure all the cafes and colleges is also essential to actually serve well-balanced diet.
In Malaysia, child malnutrition affects the nation's future. Many organizations across here do their best to in the volunteering programs. Volunteers raise awareness and support nutrition programs to help struggling families. They are unsung heroes that work anxiously to ensure for children to have a better future in the life.
Hai, nama saya Nur Ali Azrin. Saya dah bersama dengan Sekretariat Sukarelawan Malaya Sakram sudah selama 3 tahun, dan sekarang saya memegang jawatan sebagai Ketua Unit Sumber Manusia di Sakram. Okay, Sakram ni actually diorang ada je banyak projek, tapi kalau dalam kes ni kita orang ada satu projek nama dia Building Bonds Changing Life, di mana kita akan kumpulkan makanan-makanan dan kita akan memberikan atau distribute all the foods to poor families with kids. So projek ni kita ada collaborate dengan UTM, Universiti Teknikal Melaka, UKM, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia dengan NGO Kencara. So kita collaborate dengan diorang semua ni, dan kita orang kumpul satu tempat, kita orang bincang mana tempat mana kita akan distribute, dan dari situ kita distribute lah makanan-makanan semua.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Saya Naufal Ika Fazana. Saya juga merupakan ahli Sekretariat Sukarelawan UM selama 3 tahun, dan saya memegang jawatan sebagai penolong Ketua Unit Sumber Manusia. Pada pendapat saya, sejauh mana program ini memberi impak kepada kanak-kanak, seperti mana yang kita tahu, budak-budak kecil sangat memerlukan protein dan zat makanan yang sihat untuk pertumbuhan mereka. Jadi apabila kami mengumpulkan makanan-makanan yang berzat tinggi dan memberikan peluang kepada mereka menerima makanan-makanan tersebut, ia sangat membantu untuk pertumbuhan mereka. Kebanyakan kes budak-budak terbantuk sebenarnya disebabkan semasa kecil mereka tidak mendapatkan zat dan gizi yang secukupnya.